Go for the stars.
4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the Produce Your Own Life podcast. Life is a script. It's time to write your story. Welcome your host, actor, director, producer, writer, and author of the recently released book, Shattered, A Journey Through the Pieces, the man who inspires millions through storytelling and interviews, the one, the only, Rodney Damon Collins.
What's up? What's up? Today, happy Tuesday to everybody. This is the Produce Your Own Life show. My name is Rodney. I am the host and creator of this show. Hope you guys are off to a good start to your week. I'm trying to make sure my headphones are on right. It's a little crooked, but I'm excited today. I have a triple header. 2 interviews are going to be via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and then my third interview will be on IG Live later on. So we got 10 a.m. Pacific, we got 11:15 Pacific, and then we got 1 o'clock Pacific. So I'm going to be a very busy man today, but I'm excited about it. My very first guest, who's up to bat, he and I got a chance to kind of connect. We're working on the same project that was filmed in Vegas, Incandescent Love. He is an incredibly talented actor. I've watched a lot of his footage, and even the director, I had some conversation with him after he left town. He didn't know that, but he was very impressed with him. This young man he's an HU alum, so you know what you get ready to get from HU alum. And he's also known as the little brother of Black Hollywood. So without further ado, I want to introduce and bring to the stage my brother, Andante Petit-Homme.
Boom. What's up, y'all?
Did I say it right? Your last name?
Yeah.
All right, man. What's good, bro? What's good?
You know, brother, we're just out here still doing the thing, just still working,
I like that. One thing I love about you, man, I watch a lot of your footage, and you're very impressive. And what I love is that you have so much positive energy, and you are super confident. It's not arrogance, it's confidence in your ability that I see. And I love that. And it shows up. It shows up on camera. It shows up on social media. And I know it shows up in the audition room. The booking magnet is what you are, right?
Yes, I am a booking magnet. It's been a journey for me, and even us meeting, everything is divine, so I really think, you don't meet anyone by mistake. So
facts. So acting, you studied theater at Howard also? Is that
partially. I did I started in musical theater, and then I then switched to television and film in the School of Communications with a theater minor, and then started training at conservatories outside of school, while in school, out of my own pocket. So Studio Theater Acting Conservatory, Mark McKinnon Acting Studio. So gaining different techniques from these different studios is kind of like, I guess, how I learn best.
Yes.
Instead of just sticking to that one thing. And some people do that and that works for them. But for me, I just know I pull from many different places. That's just how I work.
You and I both, when you just said that, I was like, that's very similar to to my path. Now you moved out to LA. Tell us a little bit about that, because I saw a post you put out. I can't remember if it was several weeks ago, maybe about a little over a month ago or whatever, when you were talking about your journey out here, what you came out here with. Come on, break it down with us, and how long you've been out here.
Yeah, so it'll be 2 years in May, and I moved here the day after graduating from Howard with $700 and a Dunkin' Donuts gift card, solely because I knew I didn't want to go back home after graduation and get a regular job and something I didn't want to do. And I loved acting since 14 years old when I got cast in a musical, of West Side Story. I was Bernardo. So I just wanted to take the leap of faith, and I said, go big, go home. And a lot of people were telling me, why not Atlanta? I just was ready for the next step. So I bought my one-way ticket during spring break. And I was planning this thing called Operation LA. So every day, try and figure out how to get to LA, whether it means like apply for jobs in LA, apply for grad school programs. I was flying back and forth to and from LA. And then I met so many great angels, you could say, along my path. One of them, Christine Horn, found a Facebook group community for actors through her, and then I arranged a meetup with her. So she was, she was very, generous to meet up with someone who she didn't know across the interwebs. And then
Yes.
she told me about the work that she did, and then I began coaching with her once I got out here, because there's a lot of people who do move to LA and they don't last, and
Yes.
I was down to say whatever means necessary to stay out here and do the work, I will do it. So
Yes.
I rented rooms, I worked as a dishwasher, UPS. I've done several jobs, but if it got in the way of acting, I would have to sadly decline or pull back, because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then I also went to different studios out here, like I mentioned before. So
Yes.
eventually, you start to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people notice the energy in me and what I'm coming with and what I'm bringing, and that, this train ain't stopping. So that's what kind of, has blessed me to be where I am today.
Wow. Man, that's very impressive. One, you're coming out to LA with $700 and a Dunkin' Donuts gift card. That Dunkin' Donuts. Although it's always cool to have a little donut. I had some Krispy Kreme yesterday, so
No Krispy Kreme. You
I
gotta
shouldn't have had it, but
no. Dunkin' Donuts is the way. Well, you know what's funny? I can't even eat it now because I'm vegan.
oh wow.
Yeah, LA got to me,
So you wasn't vegan until you moved out to LA?
Yeah, I wasn't vegan. No.
Oh wow.
No.
So that LA living, all these super healthy restaurants out here hit you, huh?
Yeah.
Now you're from what part of the country? I know you have Jamaican ancestry. What else? Because you broke it down in one of your posts. See, did I say I pay attention?
Yeah. My mother is Jamaican, and
Okay.
her mother is Jamaican and Chinese.
Mm.
So, and my father is Haitian.
Oh wow. Okay.
And my father has been incarcerated since I was 2, but I bear his name first and last. It's Enestin Petit-Homme. My middle name is Dante. So when I was studying musical theater for the time at Howard, we learned this. I took a class in music theory.
Yes.
Where you learn the notes, quarter note, half note, all that. And then we were going over tempos, and we studied the one called Andante. Andante is an Italian music tempo that means walking speed, kind of like a waltz.
Yes.
So I liked that, and I was just like, oh wow, Dante. That's what people called me rather than my first name growing up.
All
So
right.
I was just like, let me get a tattoo of the word Andante on Dante. Then I made a motto: live life on Dante, because I feel like we as people get where we need to be or want to be at a walking pace, slowly but surely.
Yes.
So then the motto, live life on Dante, came. And then it became the Andante movement. And then people around college were looking at me crazy, like, oh my gosh, this guy is just like on 1,000. But then people started getting used to it. Like, no, I really see it. Like he goes in every room as himself, and he really knows, like, he connects well with anyone. I could go up to anybody and talk to anyone. And a lot of people haven't unlocked that type of, mechanism, but it's my calling card. I see a lot of myself in other people and vice versa. So that's kind of, it felt like acting was the only way for me to survive, So then that there, a lot of words have the syllable on in it. And then I just, capitalized on that. And I was just like, hey, Ronnie Damon Collins is talking to Andante. So yeah. It's pretty much how it goes.
And I love my middle name. I actually use my full name because, one, when you search Rodney Collins, this was years ago, I just saw it was just so many. And I was like, okay, I need to separate myself completely. And I was like, I love my middle name. I like that better than my first name. So I was like, I told my mom and dad, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and use my full name. She was like, Rodney, because my name, I don't know if you noticed, but I researched my name. My first name means famous person. I didn't know that. I started doing some research. I was like, oh. So I was like, I'm not trying to be famous. I don't really care about that. But to work in the industry, ultimately, you're going to, achieve some level of notoriety. So that was one of the things that kind of drove me to start using my full name in the industry. I wanted to ask you now, when it came to, your acting and stuff like that, and did you participate in any other theatrical projects at Howard while you were there?
Yes, I did a couple stage readings. So at Howard, it was very creative. A lot of the students, there were the main stage productions that I didn't do. I did like projects made from the students. There was a part of the theater department that did their own self-made stuff. So there was a stage reading that I was a part of, and then I also was out in town in DC, also doing shows for theater festivals at that time. The DC Capitol Fringe Festival, I did two plays over the summer at the same time, and both of them, that was hectic.
Yeah.
Because with rehearsals, you're rehearsing every day, and then it's theater, so you don't know what's going to happen the night of each night. So,
Not
but
at all.
both of those plays were nominated for the best of Capitol Fringe in DC.
Oh wow.
And then, I pretty much just kept on auditioning for whatever I can. And then I found backstage.com. That's how I started my career.
Yes.
And then I would just submit myself, like any submission that was, fitting for someone of my demographic, I was submitting, and then I would pull up to the audition. And then I was known for making a lot of bold choices.
Yeah.
And then it took me a while to realize the different techniques used for when auditioning for theater and auditioning for this camera here.
Yeah.
So, that's what I've been trying to master, and mastering, like, when to turn on the stage mode and then when to turn on the screen mode, so I still work with that to this day.
It's a balancing, it really is. I'm still working through that. I love the fact that you have that theater background, because a few of my friends, especially who are well more established in the industry, have always told me that they love actors who have started in theater, because one, you have a passion for really acting and the craft and the art and storytelling, and you're not just waiting to be on TV because you want to be famous. Because especially, I want to encourage you too, once COVID lifts, to get connected in the theater industry out here too, because I actually know some people who write great plays, and you get involved out here. I met several producers being in a play that ran in Hollywood a couple of years ago called Neighbors, and I couldn't believe when I looked out in the audience, all the celebrities and the producers that was in there. I was like, oh wow. And a couple of producers came up to me and he shook my hand. He was like, that's how I know you're a serious actor. You're in Hollywood and you're still in a play. And I know plays require so much of you, and it doesn't pay as much. That's how I know you love telling stories.
Yes.
So just encourage you in that, man. Once we get rolling, I'm going to connect you with somebody I know who's amazing. She's an incredible playwright, because I really want to see you do more of that. Man, let's talk about the past couple of years. You got the movement going. You're actually producing your own stuff too, on top of Bullet.
Yes.
Just open it up. Bring us in your world, man.
Okay, so I was in classes, and I was realizing, I was spending a lot of money receiving all this training, and I wanted to do more than that. I had just recently got out of school, so it felt like, okay, I've kind of done this already. I kind of want to, dip my toe out into the world and start meeting other actors in LA who are also working too. I want to work. So I said, I felt at that time, I didn't feel as if I was as much of an actor if I wasn't auditioning. I was just like, okay, I'm here taking the classes, but I'm not using what I'm learning. What is the point? So I auditioned for everything I could. I said, I wanted to get into, as my coach would say, a season of stacking. I said, look, I just want to stack credits. I love acting. I just want to stack. I want to do this. I moved all the way over. It's like my sole purpose for being here in this state was to pursue this and build a career. So It's like I don't have any other, my blinders are up like a horse. So I've met other actors, and then when you meet other actors on set and you start going through the auditioning circuit, and then you get some, you don't get some, you start to really see little things, and I kind of read into things intuitively a little bit.
Yes.
Call it my third eye. I started noticing for the first thing that there were a lack of talk about Black males, or Black male actors specifically, in the industry. Yeah. So I was noticing, there's a lot of organizations for African American women, which is dope because I support all of us.
Yes.
But there was a lack of talk or gathering of Black men. So I created something with my fellow Black actors who I met around the city during auditions. And I said, hey guys, let's just do this. So some from all the schools that I've went to, auditions, programs, or networking events, I was just like, hey, these guys are dope. Let's bring them together and let's have a conversation.
Right.
So I talked to my coach and asked her to be the moderator. And that's where on Juneteenth last year, great day, we started the Los Angeles Black Male Actor Association.
All right.
And I also got notable actors who have been in the business. I call them seasoned veterans or veterans. Yes. And I got them to talk about their experience and impart wisdom upon us. So the first one was Demetrius Gross. Yes. I met that brother working on set as a PA for Leah Daniels' Butler's Sons project. And, I did it. I went to school for TV and film. So I kind of, when I'm not in acting mode, I could go back and assist any production, because I've also interned in casting. I've been in AD. I'm familiar with that world as well. So
yes.
And then I also started noticing a lack of, a lot of us being seen. So during COVID, when a lot of the theaters were closed, I gathered a lot of my friends and we safely organized a showcase to showcase our talents to, just our friends and family. And it was called the Andante Movement Playhouse. Yes. I do this thing called Andante Week, which is the week of my birthday, where I just do a bunch of events for everyone I've met to just come hang out with me and chill and kick it. But the events are very fun, extreme. Like there's brunch on Sunday. There's, we turn on a Wednesday. The Andante Movement Playhouse was Thursday. Skydive Wednesday. Just a whole bunch of events where, you could just, if you can't see me on my actual birthday, you could see me on this day or that day or the next or after or the whole week if you want. So a couple of people, I did that when I first got out here. It was a risk, but it was fun because October is a fun month. There's always fairs. There's always something going on. Halloween. It's just the spirit of fall. I'm an autumn baby. So, clearly.
It's your time.
Yeah.
It's your time.
So the Andante Movement Playhouse was a showcase of scenes from plays, from theater. Everybody had a scene partner. There were different rehearsals. And then I also gave an opportunity for directors or people who wanted to take a stab at directing and direct these scenes. And we put them up and then we invite people. And surprisingly, on Facebook, we gathered, notification from managers and agents in the town to come to my lovely abode in South LA to just witness what we created. So that was more than, what we were expecting. And people came and, got, some people got meetings for representation.
Wow.
So we were going to do it a second time. And, we're planning to bring it back again this summer now that LA is opening back up.
I think my son, who just graduated from college last year, he's an actor too. So I want to make sure y'all connect. He's actually producing right now for the show. So Josiah, I'm gonna make sure y'all connect.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I want to get him even more connected in this world because he loves it. And it's like, man, you're at the perfect point for this to do this. I want to tell you, you are built for longevity in this industry. I see it because you have not come to Hollywood saying, let me in. You come to Hollywood saying, I'm here. I got my stuff with me. Just, come see what I'm doing. And that's what happens. When they start coming to see you, that's when they start saying, hey, we see you're building something. Hey, come on, join us over here. That's what happens. You came to Hollywood not saying, I love me, need me, want me. You was like, no, I know who I am. And that's why I said you're built for longevity. You have what I say, a strong why. I don't know if you formulated like a mindset that you process every day. Like, do you have anything like that where you just be like, this is what I'm saying to myself? I have affirmations, I do all that stuff because you have to believe in yourself. What do you think on that?
I've always been told from my mom, like, Dante, what you doing foolishness and that? But Dante, one thing about you, you always go after what you want. And my aunt would say, you was a hustler, Dante. You always got that strength, that stride. Me couldn't do it enough, but you, Dante, you was born kicking. And then, just hearing that over and over again I was raised predominantly by Black women, and without the father in my life, I'm still becoming the man that I need to be in order to accomplish my dream. But then also I have little siblings. I have, I don't come from money. I'm middle class and I try to, help my family where I can. So it's like, that pushes me. knowing that, if not you, then who? So that is what I've always told myself. If not you, then who?
I want to encourage you with that, because if not you, then who? It's very strong, because other people are watching your journey. And I really tell people, if you step out and do what you and I are doing in our lives, there are a ton of people watching. And yeah, there are some who are haters, but the majority of people are really rooting. But they're also like, man, if they can do something that they love with their life, I can figure out a way to do something I love. It doesn't have to be walking in entertainment or whatever, but that's why my show is the Produce Your Own Life, because we are all accountable for owning our path. We can't be sitting there pointing the finger like, well, they didn't do this for me. They didn't do this for me. Nobody cares. And that's why I love your mindset. I love your mindset. You're the essence of what my show and what my mission is about. It's to really
I was really excited to work with you.
Yeah.
When we first got booked on the project. So I was looking forward to it, and I can say that I'm more than grateful to have met you and worked alongside you. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where else we go, in our careers. It's just connecting like this it's dope, man. I could just say it's dope.
Man, I was looking forward to this, and I'm glad that even that day we was on set together, it was really cool. And got to thank our man Sid, first, and Auntie Betty. I always call her
Aunt Betty.
we
Our
love,
godparents.
Yeah, they're beautiful people, and look forward to seeing what that project looks like as they're working through details. But tell us, man, what do you see for the next couple of years as you're developing your own projects? Have you mapped out some things you want to do,
man,
while auditioning? Because we all audition, but
oh yeah, for sure.
But that's not the determining factor of you being in the industry. That's what I love.
Could you restate the question just so?
Yeah, I know. I talked a little bit over that one, but put it like this: what in the next couple of years? What do you got planned? What's up?
Well, this fall, I'll release it to you and everyone watching.
Yeah.
I will be starting my MFA candidacy at Oklahoma City University.
Really?
Yes, but the program doesn't take place in Oklahoma City. It's a brand new MFA in screen acting. Now, a lot of MFAs are typically, based on theater acting, but this one, it splits it in half, because the first half, it's just divine timing. The first half will be taking place here in Los Angeles, so I don't have to move. And we'll be working in the Culver City area, and they'll be bringing in a lot of producers and directors and a lot of people teaching us the screen aspect. And then the next year we transfer over to London alongside one of the top London schools for acting, which is the Academy of Live and Recording Arts. And I guess that's where I'll be getting my theater component as well. And next year I'll be moving to London, and then the rest is unwritten.
Man, that's amazing. And London is where it's happening right now too. And this is why I said you serious about your career. Do you plan on eventually, after you finish in London, do you plan on coming back to LA, or you might like it over in Europe more than here?
I think I love LA as well.
Yeah.
I think I definitely think LA is kind of inevitable for any actor in this business for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like if you're aspiring in your career, it will bring you where the work is.
Yes.
So for me, I see me coming back to Los Angeles, definitely.
I have to encourage you in this too, because many people, when I moved out to LA, one, I took a job that brought me out here, me and my family, and the job laid me off 6 months after being here. So I just went right into the world that I've always wanted to be in anyway. But a lot of people was like, why not move to Atlanta or New York City? I was like, well, one, I don't like cold weather. New York, I love New York, but I just don't like snow. I've had enough snow for my life. Atlanta, I love Atlanta, but I knew I needed to be in LA in order to build a real lasting career and connections, at least first off. I don't know what the future holds as far as 10 years from now, but I do know I needed to come here and grind it out in the epicenter of our industry. Yeah. Hollywood, I don't care what nobody say. Hollywood is not leaving. LA is not losing Hollywood. California is not losing Hollywood. So people be like, well, Atlanta's taking over. No, it's not going to take over. They're just not going to allow it. the industry, Toronto, all over the world, Sydney, where they go film. All these places are beautiful, but it's still, you got to come here. You got to walk this path, and a lot of people are afraid of it. They're afraid. And you don't have any fear. At least you don't show the fear. You don't.
No, I think after moving here, on a one-way ticket the day after graduating, there was a moment when I got here where I was just like, dang, did I really do this? I'm really all alone. Like, my family's 3 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
Phone calls, communication can be very tough. And then, I've also experienced like some little minor setbacks out here while, trying to maintain footing, but I was determined. Yes. And I was strong, right? And I always went with my gut and my intuition. So that, and then always talking to people and being straightforward and not playing this game of trying to get over or anything, just really talking to people as I normally do, as if they were human beings,
yes.
Not seeing what I could gain from them. And then that's what God has just done the rest.
Man, I'll tell you, and I was going to lead into that. I was going to ask a question on that, so I'm going to get to that in 1 second. What I want you to do too, also, is do me one favor. The word setback, or 2 words, whatever. It's 1 word, setback. Get that out your vocabulary. It's a hurdle. That's all it is a hurdle. I've had to get rid of the word like setback and try, because try basically leads for me to give room to say I'm gonna go ahead and do something else if it doesn't work out. Or setback is like, to me, setback felt like I was putting a weight. So I was like, no, this is actually a hurdle. That's all it is. I ran hurdles in high school, so I just picture running over that hurdle, man. It's like, yeah, you got to stretch it a little bit longer. You got to have your strides a little tighter. That's all it is, because you are doing it. You're doing the work. And I'm telling you, man, you have an incredibly promising career. You really do. I've heard nothing but great things about you. How you treat people, how hard you work, and how prepared you are. It's seen. So if it shows on your social media, it shows in person. When I met you, I was like, this brother's confident. It's like he's not quite. I had to go through the confidence building part, because I started acting younger, but I got married young and had a young family, so I had to table that. And I told God, I was like, God, if it's meant for me to work in this industry, I believe at one point or another in life, you're going to bring the opportunities back. Sure enough, they came back, and I went into it, but I was scared to death, because when you're a little bit older, you're like, oh, what happens if it doesn't? But you can't think like that. And that was my faith. My faith has kept me, and my faith keeps me every single day. You mentioned God. Like, is faith a big part of your journey?
Yes, okay. A huge part. I would, as soon as I landed here, I said, look, I got to find a church. I said, I can't do this. I said, every Sunday, that was even a part of Andante week. The first Sunday we used to do this in school too. My university had its own chapel. We were bringing people like Al Sharpton and many different speakers to come speak to us on Sunday. So I said, I have to find a church. So I ended up at one LA.
Yes.
And I would always be there. They had 3 services on Sunday. So, if I came a little tardy, I could at least get the second one in. So I would always get there by the 11 a.m. service, not the 9 a.m., the 11 a.m. So, and then I made that my ritual, always be in church until COVID happened. And then I would catch the online service.
Yes.
So yeah, faith has been a huge part. Matthews 24:44, be ye also ready.
Yeah, be ready, man. One of my very good childhood friends, believe it or not, we both from Ohio, and we've been friends most of our lives, is one of the men's ministry leaders at one LA. So you may have, if you go on to some of the men's gatherings or something like that, you may have seen him there. But he's a good dude. I'll text you his name, so you might be like, oh, I know him. But man, I really am glad that you are on my show and that you're sharing your story, because a lot of people, especially younger men and women, need to understand, if you want to work in this industry, how you need to present yourself. And it's not this, yes, I love social media, but it's not about being glamorized and look at me. No, we're in service. We're here to serve this industry. We're here to serve the stories. It's really the mindset that you got to have. What advice would you give to somebody, getting ready to venture out here and do this thing? What would you tell them?
Man, I would say um, don't live in the know
Mm,
and never give up and be open in the never give up. Part of that was taught to me when I was training at the Baron Brown studio here in Los Angeles. I was studying Sanford Meisner, the Meisner technique. And
yes.
I had a wonderful instructor. Her name was Elaine. And, we come here with a fixated plan or fixated mind, but you have to be open that to know that that plan may not work out because that's not life, you know.
Right.
So you have to be fluid like water and you have to swim. Don't
Mm,
live in the rejection, don't live in the no, or else, you'll drown eventually.
yes.
So yeah, and then also be a good person, be very nice, be friendly, and but also don't be taken advantage of.
Mm,
hmm and then what's a quote I always say? The more you give, the more unnecessary you give up, the
mhm.
more unexpectedly you'll get down.
Mm. There's a whole lot of meat up in that bad boy. That's like chewing a big old steak off the grill. Yeah, I know you. I know
The
you're big.
vegan tofu steak for me.
Yeah, yeah. You have a tofu. You if you had a cookout with me, I'll make sure you have a tofu steak. But
Oh yeah,
I'll
man, I'm down. Just
yeah,
season it properly. I still can do seasonings. Jerk, make sure you have some curry
yeah.
powder, and some black pepper.
Gotcha,
Gosh, because there's some
gotcha.
unseasoned stuff.
Man, I just want to say thank you, man, for being on this show. This show is still, I said, this is an extension of who I am. I look at this show almost like a ministry. It's a way that you really want to build other people up. That's why I brought it together. It's a lot of good vibes, and I like people just to be really encouraged in knowing that we all have a responsibility. Um, I want you to share how you want people to keep in touch with you. I know you got a website, you got everything out here. So how you want to keep in touch? How can they be a part of the next showcase you do if they're want to display their talents and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So go ahead, it's your turn.
Yeah, absolutely. You could reach me at Andante_movement on Instagram. Live Life Andante. That's ANDANTE on Twitter. You could add me on Facebook, Andante Petit-Homme, and you can also send me an email at theandantemovement@gmail.com with any of your submission materials for our next showcase.
Man, we're putting it in the notes too, so that it's already typed in there, so people will have that too. I'm just like, thank you for showing me some grace with mispronouncing the last name Petit Home. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for sure. I'm serious because that's why I tried to ask, and then the voice left. I listened to it, and then I forgot to save it, and then a few minutes later, I was like, oh, I was like, I don't want to bother them again.
You're good,
But
bro. You're good. It's a
I'm
French
very
last
thankful.
name.
Yeah.
When people hear it, they're like, "Are you French? Parlez-vous français?" I'm like, "I'm Haitian," but yes, it is a French last name. Like un peu petit homme.
Mm.
You know what's funny? It was pronounced petty home in American English, petit home. You wouldn't hear that second T.
Oh,
Yeah, but then as I got more educated on my last name, I just started pronouncing it like in its native derivative, petit homme. And
yes,
people just love the way it sounds. Andante Petit-Homme, Petit-Homme,
it does.
Petit-Homme. I'm like, oui, monsieur.
Man, we definitely, we're gonna be back on the show. You're gonna be back on the show again too, as we continue to grow our careers, and because people gonna want to find out what's up with you, how things are going. So make sure that we stay in touch, and we will be staying in touch. And I'm pretty sure we'll be doing some
Of
more work
course,
together.
bro. All the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But with that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap us up because the producer is letting me know I'm past schedule.
Oh, is he now?
Yeah, the producer. This is the only time he get to kind of boss me around, So
No
that's
worries.
he went to school for, like you studied all this stuff. So I'm like, go ahead, it's time for me to wrap it. But I really do appreciate you, man. And I tell everybody that stop watching Inspiring Lives and become one. And you're
Yeah.
already ahead of the game with that. You're not waiting until all these other things happen in your life. You're doing it now. And you're being an inspiration to younger, but also older, because you inspire me. When I look at you, I feel accountability to make sure I have my game together too. So just know that, man. You represent well. You represent HU well. And keep representing, man. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching, for listening to the Producer on Life show, and my very special guest, Andante Petit-Homme. I was close. Petit-Homme.
You got it, man. You got it.
Because he gonna get me, but I'm gonna get the last name all the way together. Make sure you like, rate, and share this show on YouTube, which is the Producer on Life TV network. Make sure you go to Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google. We're on, I think, just about every podcast platform that's out there. Make sure you rate it on Apple, because if you don't give an Apple rating, they don't show love to the podcast. So make sure you
5 stars, 5 stars, y'all. 5 stars.
All day. I appreciate that love. Appreciate that love. And thank you to the 12 countries that we have listeners in. We have listeners in 12 countries. So we thank you guys for supporting the show as we continue to grow this movement. Always remember one thing: life is a script. It's time to write yours. And we out.
Thank you for listening and watching the Produce Your Own Life podcast with Rodney Damon Collins. Be sure to rate, like, subscribe, and share on all podcast and social media platforms. If you have questions or would like to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to us anytime at produceyourownlifetv@gmail.com. Remember, life is a script. It's time to write your story. Until next time, produce your own life.